Hello, great to talk to you guys today. My question is for Sascha, actually. So, Sascha, heading into season 2 with this, we see the family business is the overarching theme. But what did you want to make sure that you showcased this season? And if there's a particular character who goes through the most transformative events this season, who would be the one to watch?
Great question. Well, first off, thank you for having us. And also thank you for acknowledging the work that Patina did in season 1. She's obviously spectacular, as is Mekai. So thank you for that, you guys. I think season 1 ended pretty dramatically. So there's some things there we need to sort of figure out from a narrative standpoint. And I think whenever you get a second season of a show, you spend the first season sort of establishing the characters and the world and getting the viewers somewhat comfortable with that. And then you have this opportunity, a second season, to expand that world and to do a deeper exploration into the characters. Having said that, to go back to your sort of the second part of your question, interestingly, I think that probably Marvin has the greatest arc across season 2. And I say that because, the way things ended for him in season 1 was pretty, I think, it was pretty polarizing. I shouldn't even say polarizing. It wasn't polarizing. I think people really felt pretty strongly about Marvin at the end of season 1, and probably not for great reasons, frankly, justifiably. And so season 2 is really a journey of sort of understanding and redemption for him. And, you guys will have to let me know whether he's ultimately successful in that regard. But if he isn't, it's not because of London Brown. It's because of the writing, because London is incredible. And I think the work that he does in the second season is truly sort of magnificent. But yeah, so that's who I would sort of identify. And that isn't to say that every character has an arc across the season, but that one I feel like is the greatest transformation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My question is for Patina, and I'd like to ask you about the mother-son relationship. It's clear that you want to protect Kanan. Your character wants to protect Kanan at all costs. However, you still make him do things and put him in situations that are very dangerous. Share with us your character's insight into, how does she rationalize that?
Okay. No, go ahead. Keep going.
No, but that's it. Just
Our first will say she's never made anyone do anything. I think Kanan steps up to the plate. Like you'll see in the last episode, the 109, he says, "What do you do? What do I want to do it? I want to do it. I want to do it." So I will say she doesn't, she makes some people do things like her brothers. It's like, but for Kanan, she's never made him do anything. Kanan throughout the first season kept wanting to be involved in his mom's business. And she kept saying, "You don't know things. You don't know this world. Get out of this world. You don't know it." And he kept doing it. So now Rock's in this sticky situation, you know what I mean? She's in a situation where she can't really think as clearly as she wants to think. Her brother's in the hospital, almost lost his life. Things are turning, moves are being made, and her son positions himself as, I can be the one to take care of it. And she, goes there. And with that, there are consequences to doing something like that. It's what she tried not to do the entire season. And, second season is all about grappling with the decision to send him to do something, as we all know what he did. And so second season is all about trying to find him because, it changes him, it changes their relationship. And also the secret is still out there. And, we know how it ends. He's, Howard's not dead, as we all know. And so it's just the threat of the relationship for Rock is, will he find out? Will he not? And she's constantly trying to establish what that relationship is in season 2.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Brandon Collison, Media and Popcorn Podcast. My question is for Mekai. Great work this season. You're just killing it. My question is, how do you approach Kanan without the baggage of what happens to him way later in his life in the Power universe, right? Like, how do you not be sad all the time on set? And like, I'm gonna die a really bad death. What is this all for?
Well, one, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you acknowledging the work, man. It's definitely, I definitely put in the reps to try to get there, so I appreciate that. Two, to answer the question of how do I kind of ignore the outside noise of knowing Kanan's fate. Honestly, that's a great question. I really have not really put much thought into that in terms of, like purposely staying away from. I was a fan of the show already when I even came into being a part of the project, so I naturally had that in the back of my mind. So I think it just, at the end of the day, turned into how do we reverse engineer this story so that nobody even really sees this coming, especially people that are not privy and new to the Power universe.
Thank you so much, and great job to Patina as well. This is a fantastic season.
Kathy Woods here. My question is for Patina. What I love about this show, and especially Roxanne, is she's unapologetically ambitious, and it's not positioned as her trying to be a man. She's just a woman that enjoys being in charge and likes being a boss. Talk about why that's important to not position it as that way instead of her trying to emulate men.
Yeah, she grew up with men, right? Like her two brothers, and she's around all of them. But what I think I love about her is that she is just really smart. She is just really good at what she does. She knows who she is. She's grew up. She had to grow up very young, having a child at a young age, but she's always been sort of driven and wanted this thing. And, she's smart enough to do it. And so I think she's just making the moves that any guy would move. She's not trying to be one of them. She's just being herself. And I think that's what scares a lot of the men around her, is that she is just so, she is powerful because she just is, and she doesn't try to be that. So I love that we're just playing her as not trying to be a man, but there are women out here. It's nothing new, right? Women are out here like making our mark on the world. We're in all these spaces that are predominantly held by men every day, and we're just doing what we do. So I love that Raquel, the character, is no different.
Agree, and I think you're fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Green with Film Critique, and my question is for Sascha. One of the things that I really loved about this show and was really just floored by was how authentic the costuming and everything 90s is with this show. Can you go a bit more into that and how you guys keep that consistent?
Well, first off, thank you for saying that. I mean, it's a real testament to everyone that works on this series. The costume designers are Sergey White and Frank Fleming. We have an amazing production designer, Tanya Biljani. We have, it's a nonstop job, to be honest. And what I mean by that is like, we're scouring, people's closets and warehouses all year round, trying to find this wardrobe because, our viewers are pretty attentive, and they know before anyone else does, if we mess something up. And, as I like to say, Twitter is undefeated in terms of calling us out on anything we get wrong. So look, it's really, the challenge for us is like, if we get that wrong, then it pulls you out of the series, pulls you out of the experience. If someone notices that those Jordans aren't the actual Jordans from 1992 or 91, that they're reissues, it's like, that's what they're thinking about. Like, we messed that up. And so for us, it's just really, really important that we capture all that. From the clothing, we had, for example, Unique's jacket in season 1, that was Dapper Dan. And, Unique's outfits in general are designed by designers who were doing that work in 1991. We go out of our way to find those people. Dapper Dan's a lot easier to find than others, needless to say. But yeah, it's a big part of the series. The music is also critically important, because I think that stuff for all of us, and frankly, you guys were talking about it when we came into the room, that stuff sort of has this visceral impact in terms of it really does bring you back to that moment. And so, it's a huge part of the series, and I think it's what makes the series kind of distinct and its own. And it's also really, really fun, but it's a challenge.
Nice. Thank you. And great job, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Brandon Keith Avery with Just My Opinion Reviews in Dallas, Texas. And Mekai, this question is for you, sir. First off, great performance. I've been blown away so far. And I know in the past, you've talked about how when you first obtained the role of Kanan, how you was initially shocked and you felt a bit of pressure, but you prepared yourself by watching old 90s movies and television shows and studying the mannerisms of 50 Cent. I mean, in the first season, you were so different, wanting to protect your mother, but the second season, you're a bit skeptical. Like, I think I bit off too much that I can chew. So in the second season, Mekai, like, did the creators or 50 Cent say to you, like, hey, we loved you the first season, do exactly what you did in the first season in the second season, or did they ask you to kind of take a different approach? Or if you could just kind of talk about how you approached the role the second time around.
Thank you for the question, first of all. I think, you know, there's Sasha's right here as well. I think there's always just been an extremely collaborative effort in terms of, you know, the arcs with any of the characters, any sort of forward motion that's going to happen with the story. I think that the overall, you know, understanding of where this character was going was kind of hit and nailed and really understood by all of us very early on. There are conversations that happen, you know, on the regular and the day-to-day about what's happening with these characters or how to play what's happening. But for the most part, you know, Sasha, 50, everybody really trusts one another with just our natural talents and you know, our natural instincts. That's one thing Sasha's always told me is, you know, he appreciates and trusts my instincts a lot of the time, even in times when I haven't. You know, a lot of the times he's deferred to me when it comes to those sort of things in certain moments, and I will always appreciate you for that, big dog. Thank you. But yeah, that's kind of, you know, the overall, I guess you can say, process of how, even going into second season, how we really built the character. It was, you know, just everybody had the general understanding of where the character was at that point. Sasha gave me he helped me kind of map out, yeah, this is what's going to happen this year. He, you know, definitely points you in the direction of, like, he gives you the warnings of, you know, this is essentially somewhere in the ballpark of what, you know, you're going to be going through this year. So yeah, that's kind of how it all came together. But for the most part, it's, yeah, we all trust one another to just come together and collaborate as one big think tank.
Right on. Thank you so much. And I was so shocked when I found out that you wasn't 50's son, because y'all look like twins.
Hey man, I take that as a testament to the craft, big bro. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Sharonda Williams, pair weights. This question is for Patina. I feel like, and let me know if I'm wrong or not, if this is a fair assessment, because it feels like there is a switch that has happened with Rock from what we've seen in season 1 to season 2. That Rock is really taking things to another level, not only for herself, but for the business and those around her. And I wanted to know, do you feel as though it's a fair assessment for those closest to her to see her behavior as reckless? Or is this just another situation where, once again, Rock is 10 steps ahead, where everyone else can't really catch up and see the end in mind that she has?
I don't know. I always tend to believe there's nothing about Rock that's reckless. I think she's very calculated. She thinks a lot about, you know, the weight of what she's, you know what I mean? She thinks a lot in terms of everything. And so I don't know if she's reckless. I think she's been planning. She thinks that's why she is where she is, because she thinks about the things and she has the, you know what I mean, to see what's going to happen or what she wants for herself, and she sees the vision. And so, you know, that has sort of been the way that she's always done it. Now, listen, at the end of the season, it got a little, because she's human, you know, I don't think she saw like what was going to happen between her and Kanan. You know what I mean? The fallout of that. But I think she very much is like focused on, I want to expand my business. She's a businesswoman. She's trying to get everyone back aligned to focus on the family business, because in helping it grow, she's helping all of them, you know? So that's kind of, I don't really see it as being reckless. I just think she's really, she's ambitious. And she is not just okay with just being the queen pin of Southside Jamaica Queens. I think she wants to have it all.
Okay, we gonna claim that for Rock. She can have it all. Thank you.
All right, Karen, first, here's what happened to Karen Talks podcast. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. And my question is gonna be for Patina. You fantastic job from what we've seen for season 2 so far. You ended up just now by saying you don't think Rack is reckless. She's not. She's always calculative and she thinks very practically. But this season is giving me a bit of a Greek tragedy vibe, and I kept thinking of Icarus. I'm like, she's flying so far, she's flying so far and so far. I'm like, she's gonna burn out and she's gonna meet the sun, and that sun is gonna send her plummeting back. And I want you to be able to talk to us about how, yes, she is calculative, but like her weakness is that she can't anticipate what other people will do. She knows what she wants to do, but she doesn't know what other people are going to do. So talk about how her trajectory, using that term, is going to go on for season 2.
I mean, I think like, Rock, that is like the human part of her, right? Like, she, for how successful she is and all these things, like she is still human. Things do still happen, right? Like she can see, but she doesn't know what people are going to do. And so I think that's what keeps it exciting, is because there are, you get to find out all of these things. You get to see her react in the moment to things and being surprised. And so it's not really interesting to have a character who is just like the boss and, has it all together. You need to see the cracks. And there are a lot of cracks in the second season, just within who she is. I mean, her home life is very unstable. That's really been the thing that she had a handle on that at the beginning of the first season. And obviously that started to go away. But now that her business is thriving and her family life is in this like crazy, it's this crazy place right now. And her son is not seeing eye to eye with her, and she knows that she messed up. It's allowing her to not be as quick on her feet, right, with some things. And so you get to see her in real time have to deal with everything, and she doesn't get it all, so I love that.
Great, thank you so much. I can't wait to see where all the drama goes, because somebody's going to get their wings clipped.
My question is, it seems like season 2 is about duality of becoming who you want to be versus kind of the situation of where you're stuck at. Kai is knowing this, and especially during the conversation that Raquel, how does Kanan navigate this season, first asking if there's more to what's going on versus how do I continue to please everyone that's in this family business?
Yeah, wow. I'm glad you picked out the duality in that, because that's definitely something we were trying to play with and teeter throughout the whole season. Is I think really that's kind of just the space Kanan is in, is just this teetering, trying to figure out, like, he's proud of being there, and ultimately his goal was to protect and be there for his family. He feels like he did that, not to the fullest extent of what he was asked, but I think that's where the duality comes in, is he became scared of how intense that task was. He was ready to do it, but when he was actually in the face of it, he's like, wow, I don't know if this is, if I'm as ready as I thought I was. So that's really the space he's in throughout the entire season, but he's in this environment where he's kind of, forced to move dependent on just the scenario he's in. He's kind of in a survival mind space at this time. So you see the moments where he likes to still try to lean into his innocence a little more, but the circumstances surrounding, his actions and his consequences kind of forces him into this, having to lean into the more aggressive, gritty side of, where he is and what's around him.
Okay, y'all, I'm going to close it out with the queen, Miss Patina Miller. I am interested in Rock's relationship with Jukebox. What is that relationship? And I think that this season we're seeing more of it. So, how is Rock guiding her? What are the kind of questions that she has that makes it appropriate for Rock to be there and not for her father to be there?
I mean, I think, Rock, just as much as Kanan is her son, Jukebox is her daughter. Rock took over the responsibilities of raising Kanan, raising Jukebox while Marvin was away. And so, Rock has been sort of the only motherly figure she's known, Jukebox has ever known. And so I loved all those moments that you got to see the softness of Rock. You got to see her vulnerable side, not just with Kanan, but you got to watch her mother, this young woman who's on her own journey of becoming who she's going to become. And that was really important for me, to just see that relationship and to see her as accepting as she is of Jukebox. And, in the second season, you get to really see her be there for Jukebox a little more. Jukebox sort of serves as sort of a way into Kanan as well. She's the older one, and so she's sort of like jukebox. She's the eyes for Rock in some way, but you do still get to see her be there for Jukebox as she's going on this journey of figuring out who she is. And it's nice that she has that. It's nice that, you know, you get to see that side of the relationship. It's one of my favorite. I mean, just as much as I love working with Mekai, I really love working with Haley. And I think we found there's just some great stuff that we've gotten to bring out in each other just by investigating and figuring out that relationship. So.
Well, thank you guys.
Once again, we want to thank this amazing cast of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. We appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us today, and we'll see you in the next episode of Africa Roundtable.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.